So now that we know how to work with addition and subtraction of polynomials, let's multiply. You're going to do a lot of multiplication of polynomials because we are about to hit the point where we are about to factor. And that means we're going to go backwards from multiplying. So what does it mean to multiply polynomials? Well, first of all, there's a technique that we can use. And when we do this, the first thing that we can do is think about the distributive property. Okay. So example one right here. If we were to distribute 5x squared into both of the items inside the parentheses, we have a monomial times a binomial. So 5x squared times 7x cubed is 35x to the fifth because we add the exponents together. And 5x squared times negative 4x, that's negative 20x cubed. What does this really mean? It means I have 5 times x, and we're multiplying that by 7 times x times x times x minus 4x. So when I do this, I have 5 times 7, which is 35, and I have 5 x's multiplied together. I can write that in exponential form and get x to the fifth. I then have 3 x's, 2 in the front, 1 in the rear, gives me a total of 3 of them. That makes 20. Okay, so the distributive property is used if you've got a monomial times a binomial. But let's look at example 2, because now we've got not one, but 2 binomials multiplied together. Now we're going to do what's known as a little box method. It's called the graphic organizer. When I was your age 2 or 3 years ago, this method wasn't around. We also walked to school in the snow. And so here's how the box method works. We're going to put a little x plus 1 here and then a little x plus 3 here. And so here's what we do. We think about this from a Punnett square standpoint. You know, in biology, when you're doing some genetic stuff and you're trying to figure out working with like dominant genes and recessive genes, that is, and working through those. Okay, so here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to think about area. Now this box right here has a length of x and a width of x. So this x times this x makes x squared. That's neato. This box over here, take a look at it. Now it has a length of 1 and a height of x. So 1 times x is 1x. You don't need to write the 1. We got a box down here. This box has a length and a width of this x and this 3, which is 3x. And finally, this box down here has a length of 1 and a width of 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So we basically found 4 areas of rectangles. Now what do? We do what we did in the last concept. We combine like terms. We add everything together. So we have an x squared. These diagonal items add together. So 3x plus x is 4x and plus 3. Hey, we are done. Now the way I learned it back in the day, it still works really, really well, is called FOIL. FOIL stands for first terms, outer terms, inner terms, last terms. Not that you have to know that, but when your teacher says, hey, you can FOIL it out, they're not talking about using aluminum foil like you're at a barbecue. It kind of sounds good right now. So here's how we do it. We take the first terms, this x and the first term over here, this x, and we multiply them together and get x squared. Then we take the outer terms. Okay, so the outer terms would be x and 3. That's 3x. Then we take the inner terms, the 1 times x, and get 1x. And finally, the last terms, 1 times 3, which is 3. And you'll notice you get everything that's the same as in the boxes up above. So this gives us x squared plus 4x plus 3. Like last time, it's whatever you prefer. More and more people prefer the box method. Just like 5 out of 4 dentists approve of certain gum. That's not possible. But here's example 3. We have a trinomial times a binomial. Hey, this is pretty fun stuff, I'm telling you. So, got to be really good at exponents. If you got good mental math skills, you can just blow right through these. So we're going to put the trinomial on top and the binomial down the side. This is a 3 by 2, so we're going to have 6 terms that we're going to have to put together. Got to be pretty disciplined with it as well. Okay, it's kind of like getting 6 orders right, working at a restaurant. You can do it. Here we go. Here we go. First box, 3x squared times 2x. Hey, that's going to give us 6x cubed. Now we're going to take 5x times 2x to get this box. That's 10x squared. And then negative 1 times 2x. Negative 2x. We go down below. 3x squared times 4 now is 12x squared. 5x times 4, 20x. And finally, negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Good stuff. All right, combine things. Well, 6x cubed doesn't have any like terms, but the squareds do. The squareds are going to dance. 12x squared plus 10x squared. They're going to come together and make 22x squared. That's beautiful. Then we also have a 20x minus 2x. That's positive 18x, then minus 4. Feeling kind of lonely, so join the polynomial. There we go. All right. That is how you multiply polynomials together. Are there some shortcuts? Can you do this in your head? Absolutely. Let's look at that in the next video here to come.